Segmenting consumer markets is separating your customers into groups that have similarities to them. There are four main categories that companies use to segment their customers. They're geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral. Of course, the goal is to try to become much finer than something simple as geographic, but that's not always as easy because it requires a lot of extra market research. So the first one is geographic. Geographic is based on locations. So a perfect example of geographic segmentation would be McDonald's. Think about how they do theirs. If you've traveled the world and you've been to a McDonald's, you can see how different it is in every single location. In the US, they have the standard McDonald's, but if you go to somewhere like Asia, for example, in South Korea, they have things like the bulgogi burger, they have the shrimp burger. If you go to other places like Germany, they serve beer. There's some places where they don't serve any beef, or they only serve chicken, or they have wraps. It all depends on the location you go to, and McDonald's does a fantastic job of matching their segments to the local cultures that are there. The next one is demographic. Demographic is what most companies usually lean on, or the least amount of emphasis as possible on demographics, because demographics are sort of like checking the boxes, right? It's things like age, gender, ethnicity, where you are in your family life cycle. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have children? How many children? Your education status, your financial status, things like that. It's kind of like checking the boxes. It's very, the problem with demographics, of course, is that you're sort of putting people in cookie cutters, or you're stereotyping that certain people must act certain ways. And we all know that that's not true. Psychographics is sort of like your personality. Are you a type A personality who's a risk taker and very outgoing? Are you a type B personality? There's some examples and textbooks where they talk about the vals. You can read about those and understand what those are. But psychographics is more about personality traits, and behavioral is based on how you act towards that product. Maybe your purchasing process, or how many times you use the product based on the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your customers. So we like to try to focus on the behavioral. And here's an example of behavioral for Wendy's. So what Wendy's did was they grouped their products based on meals, which also kind of goes on the time of day. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have between meal snack, you have dinner, and you have after dinner. So this is how brands, or Wendy's for this example, separates their customers into like-minded groups.